The evening sun dipped gently behind the horizon, painting the small coastal town in hues of orange and gold. The ocean waves whispered against the shore, and the salty breeze carried the fragrance of fresh bread from the local bakery. In that moment, the setting felt like something pulled straight from a romantic comedy movie, where every detail seemed crafted to hint at love, destiny, and the possibility of second chances. Inside a cozy little cafe, the heart of the town's community, Emma Carter, a young woman in her late 20s, stood behind the counter. Her hair was tied back loosely, a few strands falling across her face, and her apron still carried traces of flour and sugar. Emma was known in the neighborhood for her talent as a baker, but more than that, for her warm smile that could turn any customer's bad day into something lighter. Emma had always dreamed of love stories, the kind you read in novels or see in romantic English movies. She believed in fate, in soulmates, in the magical spark of a first glance. Yet, her own love life had been far from a fairy tale. Years ago, she had been in love with Daniel Miller, her childhood friend turned high school sweetheart. Together they had shared memories of late-night walks, first kisses by the beach, and endless promises under the stars. But life had its way of testing young lovers. Daniel had left the town to chase a career in the city, and Emma had stayed behind, tied to family obligations and the cafe her parents entrusted her with. The separation had been painful, filled with unanswered calls, broken promises, and eventually silence. For Emma, it was heartbreak, the kind that leaves scars but also teaches resilience. She buried her pain in baking, pouring her emotions into cakes, pastries, and bread that people from all over town adored. In every cupcake was a hidden sigh, in every loaf of bread a quiet tear. Still, Emma never stopped believing in true love. On this particular evening, the cafe was quieter than usual. The golden light from the window illuminated the wooden tables, and the smell of coffee lingered in the air. Emma leaned against the counter, wiping a cup absent-mindedly. She had been waiting to close for the night when the little bell above the door chimed. Her heart skipped a beat. She looked up, and there he was, Daniel Miller. After almost 7 years, he stood at the entrance, taller, sharper, dressed in a navy suit that screamed success. Yet his eyes, those familiar, deep, searching eyes, still carried the same warmth she remembered. For a moment, the world seemed to freeze. The only sounds were the faint hum of the refrigerator and the pounding of Emma's heart. Emma. Daniel's voice was soft, almost unsure. She blinked, gripping the counter as if to anchor herself. Memories rushed back like a flood. The nights by the ocean, the whispered dreams, the bitter goodbye. She had rehearsed this moment in her mind countless times, sometimes imagining she would run into his arms, other times picturing herself turning away coldly. But now, confronted with reality, all she could do was stare. Daniel, she finally managed, her voice trembling between shock and restraint. Silence hung heavy in the cafe. Words seemed unnecessary, yet so many were waiting to be said. Daniel took a hesitant step forward, glancing around the cafe as if to absorb every detail. You kept the place, he said, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Emma nodded, her throat tight. Of course, this cafe is my life. My parents' legacy, my dream. Their eyes met again, and in that look, a storm brewed, regret, longing, love, anger, forgiveness, all tangled together. It was a perfect beginning for a romantic drama story, one that promised heartbreak, reconciliation, and perhaps a second chance at love.